So Nintendo recently had the big, gigantic Switch reveal conference, and I have to say that alongside the PS3 reveal and the Xbox One reveal, this had to be one of the worst console reveals ever. I mean, looking for a purely objective standpoint, there was a whole bunch of shit that they didn't mention, which a person would have to go look up on their own time, which is kind of integral towards a fucking console release. Like, what are the fucking specs? What do the games look like? How do you put the games in the console? Shit like that. What's the resolution of the little screen? And what kind of games can we like? What kind of performance can we see the games? Like, we don't know. We can only speculate because they didn't mention shit during the conference. Let's go into what they did mention. They had a whole bunch focusing on the controllers, the Motion Joy controllers, and essentially they said that the Wii U is going to have every fucking gimmick that was in every other Nintendo console. And to that fucking claim, it seems like it's true. The controllers are motion control, or they have motion controls, gyroscopes, they have infrared sensors, they have fucking HD rumble, which is a fucking stupid name. High definition rumble. Okay, you could have called it like super extra sensory rumble or ASMR rumble. Maybe you would have got some more sales from that. But this thing, honestly, just the console itself, if it wasn't a Nintendo console, would anybody get it? I mean, in terms of a portable, sure, it might be more powerful than the 3DS or the Vita, but the battery life is like 2.5 hours if you're playing an actual Switch game, which means you buy the Switch day one and you buy Zelda and you're like, oh man, I'm gonna use this like a portable, I'm gonna use this on a fucking car ride. Well, shit, you better hope you're not going cross-state, because it only lasts 2.5 hours if you're playing an actual Switch game, up to 6.5 hours if you're playing like some fucking mobile garbage, and that's bad. That's really bad. Not only that, the controllers, the Motion Joy controllers that they focus so much on, those things are probably going to be sapping at the battery too if you're in portable mode. Not to mention that on their own, they each have 20-hour charges, but we now live in a day and age where half of your fucking controller can run out of battery, and you have to charge half of your controller. So that's weird. It's something we got to live with now. The accessories for the Wii, or not the Wii U, the accessories for the Switch seem very overpriced. The console itself seems like it's $50 overpriced. You have to imagine, oh, that's because they're putting all this fucking technology into the Motion Joy, but it's really technology that hardly anybody will use. Like, I guess casuals will use it. Everybody who buys 1-2 Switch, dude, that's gonna be the fucking killer app of this thing. Oh, speaking of killer apps, the only two games from, if I only watched that conference, the only two games I would think that are coming out on launch are 1-2 Switch and Zelda Breath of the Wild. One of those games you can get on the fucking Wii U, so you don't even have to buy a Switch for that. And it's crazy. Who reveals a console and only announces 2 games on launch? Like, if that's the only fucking thing I knew about the Switch, I would only think it has 2 games, one of which I can get on fucking Wii U, which I can buy for $50 used, because nobody bought those fucking things, nobody wants them. Why would I get a Switch to play Zelda? Why would I get a Switch to play Zelda and 1-2 Switch? It's worse than, well, it's not worse, but it's almost the same thing as what happened to the Wii U, right? Where the only games that had during its console launch is fucking ports, and fucking Zombie U later got ported, so it's I don't know about this whole Switch thing. The conference, they definitely handled that wrong. They announced a bunch of cool looking games, but you have no idea when the fuck you're gonna get them. And the few dates that they did put out there, like Super Mario Odyssey, that's coming out in holiday. Xenoblade, who knows when that's coming out. It seems like it's gonna be another Nintendo console where it's gonna be fucking droughts, like fucking long periods of no games, just like with the Wii U, just like with the Wii. And that's gonna fucking suck, and I don't think people want to go through that for the third time. While I'm droning on the negatives, they announced that there's gonna be a paid online service for the Switch, which means that, oh, now if you have a Switch and you have a PS4 and you have an Xbone, now you gotta pay for 3 fucking online subscription services for shit that should be totally free. And I'm very disappointed that Nintendo would go down this route. And of course they do it, seeing that fucking Sony got away with it, and Sony did it because Microsoft got away with it, and Microsoft got away with it because gamers are fucking retarded. I'm sorry, but it's true. Like, the fact that people started paying for Xbox Live in the first place is why all 3 of the major fucking console companies, the gaming companies, are making you pay for their fucking online. And it's stupid. Nintendo's online service is gonna be the worst out of all of them, because you know how PlayStation Plus and Xbox Live Gold, they'll give you free games as long as you're subscribed to their online service. Fucking Nintendo will give you a fucking NES or SNES game that you can only play for a month. That's fucking garbage. You own it for a month and then you have to fucking buy it. It's a fucking ROM, dude. You can fucking download that. Like, I don't see why people wouldn't just download it and emulate it on their computers. And I don't see why people wouldn't just buy a fucking $300 laptop instead of getting a Switch from that conference. I mean, sure. Oh man, look at these Nintendo games that might eventually come out, maybe in the same year even. Oh my fucking god. And then there's like, there were positives to this conference, don't get me wrong. There were, like, the games, like, oh, they all look like fucking interesting games this time. Well, I shouldn't say that. I mean, there was one clear winning in terms of games that everybody's gonna play, and it's fucking ARMS. But the games look good. They had Suda51 on stage doing some fucking shit that the translator couldn't even keep up with, and he said, yeah, Travis Touchdown is coming back for another No More Heroes game. Like, yeah, fuck yeah, there's gonna be a Xenoblade 2, yeah, it's gonna be the next Shin Megami Tensei, yeah, fuck yeah. But you don't know when those fucking games are coming out. And honestly, I would prefer those games to come out on everything else but the Switch, because it seems like a sad prospect to buy a fucking Nintendo Switch right now. I'll tell you what. Yeah. About the positives, one other thing was that Nintendo finally is getting rid of region locking, and people were like applauding that, but they really should have got rid of region locking like 2 fucking generations ago. So, good job, Nintendo. You did what everybody else fucking did. God. The worst, like, there's not much worse they could have done. They could have made it like, oh, always online. They could have got away with that bullshit. Nintendo. The Switch. I honestly wanted to switch my fucking YouTube off while I was watching that. We'll see. Maybe. Oh no, the fucking launch is in March. I was gonna say maybe they'll have something better at E3, but no. It's gonna launch in March with one game, fucking 1-2 Switch. Oh god.